Cory Bowles.
Oh, it's me. Okay. Hi. Okay. So I guess I'm to speak about, it culminates in the speech I had done at the rally about culture, and we are culture, which oddly enough wasn't what I was going to do at the rally. I had a funny little poem that was like, "'Twas the night before the budget cuts," and it was like something really ridiculous. But by the time it was my time to get on stage, something had changed. We'll get to that. When this all started, I was sort of as baffled as everyone else. Like I kind of was watching with a bit of a close eye. I didn't know I would be as involved. I think I'd started by writing a letter to my MLA about returning a coat, and then I sort of was like, well, it got a bit viral, and it was pretty funny or whatever. And I guess that's as far as I was really going to go. I was talking to Jay. Had actually spoken to me the day they were going to turn in the first whatchamacallit with the names on it. Sorry, I'm so exhausted. I've had a video shoot all day, the petition. And I had told him, I was like, yeah, I'll be there. And I sort of was like, well, I don't really. He's like, we could use your face there. And I felt, what is that really going to do? I didn't really feel like I could contribute that way. And I went to Truro to see my mom, who was actually sick. So I was in the hospital with her the next day when the budget cuts happened, and she basically said, you better go. So I was like, wow, you're sick. And she had seen, I really got angry, and she sort of pushed me, supported me to leave, so I did. I was asked to speak at the rally, and that came along. I went to the meeting with all these guys. I was like, yeah, I'm going to make a movie too, and I just kind of didn't. I wanted to do Megan's, and I was like, no way, I'm not going to go bow on the stage. I ain't fucking done yet. I was like, and I went and did one with Jeff. I was like, liar, and started screaming. And I just, as the speech came on, I think it started, I was talking to Andrea Dorfman first. We were speaking, and I was speaking to her, and she's not here, so I apologize. But she was so afraid when she was speaking to me. I was less afraid because, for my own self, because I do a lot. I do a lot of work and a lot of jobs, and I work wherever I want to. And that's just how I really believe I could do that. But my friends and my colleagues, I really support the arts. And I saw this person who I admire really worried, and she was speaking as well. And we just had a short talk. I was starting to get really angry. And the next day, I arrived at the rally really early before people showed up. We were just setting up. And I knew I was starting to get involved then. And that's when I really started to commit, and I didn't know what I was going to do yet. And then we interrupted Trudeau at the library. That's when we had our little speaking engagement with him. And during that time as well, you could probably see it on the video. I'm just becoming infuriated. Like I'm just standing there like, Mike Melsky's going off. Like the whole thing was funny. We had the plan. We're like, Mike announced us to everyone, hey, everybody, when we get in there, Cory's going to start the engagement. He's just going to keep things smooth. And as soon as Trudeau comes in, I'm like, here we go. And he goes, we know the numbers. And he starts going after him and everything. So it was I was just kind of sitting there going, cool, man. Like I don't know what I'm to do here. And then the whole time I'm just staring. I'm just listening to him say, we believe in the arts and culture. We believe in the importance of arts and culture. And, I serve on Arts Nova Scotia. I'm an inaugural member. I was appointed. I take that job very, very fucking seriously. Like, I really, really do. I believe fundamentally that, arts and culture changes lives. I believe it is the number one primary driving force of economy in modern economy. Everything is driven by media, arts, you name it. It's there. Print campaigns, it just goes on and on. And, I was listening to this rhetoric, and I was just saying, you don't care about it. And maybe you do, or maybe you think you do. But this talk, there was a glassiness that was there that I was really just, I actually wanted to take a swing. I didn't. I'm holding on to I'm wearing an ACTRA ribbon, and I'm gripping it. Like I'm just gripping it. I'm just standing there. I'm thinking, oh man, if only I could just have you for a beer right now. So then we went back to the rally, and we got involved. The drumming was happening, and there was a lot of the speeches happening, and there was a lot of heartfelt stories happening. but I felt that you know, it wasn't being heard. Like, it wasn't being heard. We weren't being told ourselves, you know, we were being told about, you know, our industry and what it does. We weren't being told ourselves as contributors to this province how important we were. And we are important. Any person that puts a pen to paper, any person that drives in this industry, an actor, we're all a part of that culture. And it was really starting to rile me. I was starting to forget my poem. And then I was like, whatever, I'm just gonna talk, and I got nervous. But when we went around to the front of the building, that's when things got hot. If you were there, we were at the front of the building, and that's when the MLAs were leaving. And we were kind of rushing the cars, and there was something that happened in that moment that just really, you know, it was 4:30, and we had just been rallying all day, and it was like the energy just started lifting again. And there was a moment where I was literally there because I was personally waiting for the cultural minister's, his car. I wanted to look him in the face. He was really avoiding my calls and my emails. And, you know, I was getting to the point where I was like, dude, you gotta talk to me because you're gonna have to in a couple days at our next meeting. I went out and stood in front of his car, and he could not look at me. He turned his face, and I understand that, you know, I understood it. But a police officer came with his bike and moved me back. And I felt at that moment, I was like, okay, everything changed for me. I started really just registering a lot of things in my head. I thought, that's how I felt. You know, I really wanted I wanted to run after his car. I felt it was, I understand. I really understand, but I felt it was a bit of, and this is just only my opinion, I felt it was cowardly. I felt that even the look, even I was like, if you're not gonna show your face, then fuck you, I will. So when I got on stage to talk, and there were a lot of frightened people, again, in the audience. There were people that were fired up. There were a lot of frightened people. There were people that I feel that I'm a public servant for, whether or not they feed into that part of the sector I'm in. Somehow we interchange. Some of us work in music videos for grants. Some of us do things on stage. We all work together. And I felt that we were betrayed as a whole sector. And it sort of riled up to the fact that I sit in meetings and we speak with bureaucrats, and you know, it's always the same thing. It's how important culture is, how important this is. But health is important too. But education is important too. It's more, but you know, there's a place, and it's the terms that are used when we speak about culture. It's how they say you guys. It's how they say, you know how your friends look at you and say you're doing something flaky, and it's like, no, we don't. None of my friends say that. You say that. And it's that type of language. So I really started, I just sort of went off to the amount of things, I suppose, that I worked in, just to sort of drive it home that it may sound like I do a lot, but everybody that was out there in that rally does a lot. Everybody in the film industry, everybody that was in solidarity with us, they all do a lot of things in their lives, and they all believe in a lot of the same things. And fundamentally, that's Nova Scotia, and that's the people of Nova Scotia, and that's values, and that's beliefs, and that is the roots of culture. So I got really mad, and I started, you know, I said, I am culture, and then you are culture, we are culture, and it was just driving that home, that we are. And I only remembered some of it. I only remembered it because I saw the video later. But I mean, all of that stuff that I said, yes, it was my own words, but it's all it's policies. It's the things that we are defined by federally. It's the things we are defined by provincially. These are all the things that are put on paper that we contribute to the values and the beliefs and how important we are. And it was like, you know what? If you're gonna, it's time that we actually embrace that and we throw it back at you and we force you to listen to us. And whether or not they did, you know, or whether or not they do, I really, at that moment, it did change me. that whole day changed me. And I realized that, I felt really good about the job I do not that I do a good job, I felt good about the job itself in the arts board. And I was like, I'm never giving that shit up. Like, I was like, I'm going to keep going until you have to kick me off. Like, if I could do something. But, yeah, I guess that's what it was. It really, I mean, I was to the point, I wanted people, really, and inside I wanted us to charge the building, burn it down. Like, I was getting like that. Like, I wanted to go Malcolm X on everything and just, but, yeah, that's kind of what came out. And that's it, really. It was just, it was, I didn't really remember it much. I was all worried about it, and I was like, oh my God, oh no, it's on the internet and stuff, but it was cool. I was okay. I was really weirded out when the meme came out, when all of a sudden the dude threw up a poster. I was like, what? And it's like, I was like, oh no. And then my friends started calling me Che Guevara, and I was like, oh man. I was like, really though, really? But it was okay. I don't mind. I would do that again and again and again. In fact, I realized that, I fight a lot for marginalized, our marginalized rights in our beliefs in the Black community. You fight a lot. You speak a lot. You maintain a lot of my advocacy is the films I make. They talk about the things in my community, and I realized that there's much more I care about. There's much more that I believe in, and fundamentally, it's the only thing I've ever known, and that's the culture sector. I know nothing else in my life. I've never done. I carried groceries once in my life, and I lost that job because I skipped it to go do a play. So, that's it for me. Yeah. So, that's it. I'll never go back.